is living at the intersection of song and poem, because the poem is called Sing It For Me, and on my next album there's going to be a song which has that same title and contains in a very brief form her words, which was what those words are, sing it for me. Those last 3 months you were home after all the surgery, chemo, and radiation were a magical and wondrous time. I had to learn at last to do all the things you'd done for me, always and forever. I learned to cook for you. I learned the mysteries of laundry. I had to learn to shop and to drive again after 6 years of bone-froze, joint-locked wheelchair motion. A year or two I couldn't even lift my hands above my neck, so you combed my hair after you bathed me. Now I lifted you, bathed you, helped you out of the bathtub. We laughed at ourselves. Former athlete, now hunchback crip, helps former captain of cheerleaders out of bathtub. Never naive about the way of all flesh, we knew the price of long loving, yet it was best to keep humor and hope in the dailiness of things, even if we always felt the place where all love stories continued far enough must end. We had hope until the end, no way to live without hope, and we laughed to the end. You told people what I heard you tell the attractive young nurse while I waited in the hospital hall that time for you to wake up from morphine sleep. Is my man here yet? Let me tell you something, darling. If you live 1/10 of the life I've lived, see 1 fraction of the places I've seen, and love 1/100th of the way I've loved and been loved, then you'll die a happy woman. It was near the end time at home, before you went back to the hospital the last time, that you first said firmly in the middle of the night, I'm going to die. Then, where are you going to put me? West Park? I said, yes, and right here with me. I knew that night I had to buy a cemetery plot if there were any left where you wanted to be. Technically, there was still hope because they had not found the new tumors yet, and we were still months away from the final shift to palliative care when you could not be moved back home again. In fact, you still talked about going to Assisi as we planned, and I still Googled late at night, but now for the first time in my life, I read all about travel insurance and details about international shipping of remains of loved ones. The other thing I mastered those last months was climbing the steps to sleep in our bedroom every night, where I'd rarely been since the wheelchair thing hit. Your intense fragility made careful sleeping necessary, but the things you said in the sleepless nights were precious. Have we seen and done everything yet? Almost. Will you sing Circle Round the Sun for me? 3 a.m. I love my baby. She's bound to love me, son. She's rose her arms around me like a circle around the sun. And how I sang, and we held tight even in the frail motion. And then there was that night when you sat up in bed at 3 a.m. singing soft and husky. My horses ain't hungry, they won't eat your hay. So fare thee well, darling, I'm going away. We harmonized in the dark. Sometimes I watched you sleep, sat up with an unread book on my lap under the bed lamp, listening to you breathe, looking at your hand, holding my finger tight in your sleep, touching your skin with my other hand, thinking how soft and tender, clean and small your hand. Nobody, not even the river, has such small and tender hands. Watching your face as you slept with that serene smile, I tried to remember who said women who have been beautiful a long time and reach old age suddenly look like girls before they die. Then the next morning when I bring you coffee, the old wisecracks. Like when I actually shoveled snow for the first time in 6 years to drive out in a blizzard to buy your favorite popcorn, which was all you'd eat some days. The store had been out for 2 weeks, but said it was coming in that day. And when I got back all snow frosted, you said, "Thanks, Frosty, you're some kind of idiot to drive in a blizzard for this." Or the night I drove in freezing rain to get your ice cream. It was sometimes hard to get any other food down. I might die now, but I might die, but now I need my ice cream. All the pills, the pain patches, the popcorn. But 2 things I cherish most from that time. How you looked when you said we'd better finish our conversion. I know we've been French and Anglo-Catholics forever, but maybe God doesn't take calls from them. So can we do it now? And how it was, our first Roman Catholic communion with the priest in our living room, and how you giggled later about your first confession. And then there was that last night before you left home, when you sat up in bed at 3 a.m. and looked deep in my eyes and said, "Don't stop loving and seeing and singing the world for me, singing the world, sing it for me."